We've mapped the stars in distant galaxies and walked on the surface of the moon. We've conquered every desert and scaled every mountain. We tell ourselves we are the masters of our world. But that is a profound and arrogant lie. Because 3/4 of our world is a kingdom we have barely seen. A cold, black, crushing abyss ruled by things that have never known the sun. Things that were ancient when our species first learned to walk. This is a cold case file from the ocean floor. A meticulously documented battle between a 19th century warship and a monster that should not have existed. If you were ready to pull the Kraken from the murky depths of legend and into the harsh light of history, hit that subscribe button. The abyss is waiting. The year is 1861. The world is a place of steam and iron, of discovery and conquest, of a rigid scientific worldview systematically erasing myth and superstition. Our stage is the deck of the Alecton, a French naval dispatch vessel. This isn't some rickety fishing boat. This is a vessel of the French Imperial Navy. Her hull is reinforced oak, her decks are armed with cannons, and her crew are disciplined men who believe in measurement, observation, and gunpowder. They are about to come face to face with something that would defy all three. November 30th. The Alecton is sailing through calm, sun-drenched waters in the Atlantic. The sea is a sheet of sapphire glass, the sky a perfect, unbroken dome of blue. It's a day of almost supernatural tranquility. Suddenly, a lookout perched high on the mainmast lets out a shout. It's not land ho or ship ahoy. It's a choked, strangled cry of sheer disbelief. He's pointing, his arm outstretched and trembling. The officers and sailors turn, following his gaze. There, shimmering on the surface, is something impossible. A living island of bruised purple and blood-red flesh. The size of a whale pulsating with a sickening alien rhythm. The first assumption is that it's a capsized wreck, or maybe the carcass of a decaying whale. But as the Alecton steams closer, the impossible takes on a terrifying living shape. It is a squid. But to call this thing a squid is to call a hurricane a light breeze. Its body alone, the great fleshy torpedo of its mantle, is estimated by the officers on deck to be between 15 and 18 feet long. Its skin is a shifting tapestry of chromatophores, flashing in waves of color from deep, angry red to pale, ghostly white. And then, it turns. A single colossal eye, the size of a dinner plate, breaks the surface. It is a perfectly formed, complex eye, with an iris and a pupil that seems to dilate as it fixes on the approaching warship. It is an eye that holds no emotion a human could recognize, just a vast, cold, ancient intelligence. A profound and unnatural silence falls over the deck of the Alecton. The normal sounds of the ship, the creaking of ropes, the hiss of the steam engine, vanish, replaced by a stunned, horrified awe. These were hardened men, veterans of sea battles and storms. They were not easily frightened, but they were looking at the legend, the myth. They were staring at the Kraken. Their captain, Frédéric Bouyer, was not a man given to flights of fancy. He was an officer, a patriot, and a man of the scientific age. He did not see a monster. He saw a specimen. The single greatest biological prize in the history of the world. To bring its corpse back to Paris would be a national glory. It's a Moby Dick moment, but this Leviathan is an ambassador from a far darker, deeper world. He gives the order, his voice ringing out across the silent deck. Prepare for battle. The French Navy was going to war with a sea monster. The fight begins. Captain Bouyer orders his riflemen to the railing. A volley of shots rings out. The lead balls tear into the creature's gelatinous body with sickening, wet thuds. The great beast shudders, its skin flashing violently. Not in pain, it seems, but in profound annoyance, like a bull bothered by flies. It doesn't flee. It doesn't dive. Its great eye remains fixed on the ship. Frustrated, Bouyer gives the command to load the cannons. With a deafening roar, a 6-pound cannonball screams across the water and scores a direct hit. But there is no explosion of blood and viscera. The ball passes straight through the soft body, leaving a neat, smoking hole that seems to close almost instantly. They have just fired a cannon at a ghost. And now, the ghost decides to fight back. With a surge of power that churns the placid sea into a boiling froth, the creature turns on the ship. 8 arms, each as thick as a man's body and lined with rows of serrated suckers, erupt from the water. Then, 2 much longer tentacles lash out like colossal whips, tipped with a club of razor-sharp hooks. One of these smashes against the oak hull, and the entire ship shudders as if it has struck a reef. The sound of splintering wood echoes across the deck. Below the surface, the men glimpse its weapon. A jet-black parrot-like beak, as large as a man's torso, snapping open and shut. This isn't an animal, this is a living siege engine. Captain Bouyer, his scientific curiosity now a burning Ahab-like obsession, screams for the harpoons. The harpooners let fly. 1, then 2, harpoons sink deep into the creature's mantle. A ragged cheer goes up from the crew. They have done the impossible. They have chained the Kraken. They lash the ropes to the ship as steam-powered capstan and begin trying to haul the beast aboard. The ship groans under the strain. The ropes, thick as a man's arm, are stretched taut as iron bars. The creature, now truly enraged, wraps its tentacles around the ship's propeller and rudder. It sprays a fire hose of black, viscous ink into the air, momentarily blinding the men. But they hold on. Slowly, agonizingly, they begin to winch the monster from the water. The colossal head and its unblinking eye are lifted from the sea. The creature is half out now, its immense weight a dead, dragging force. And that's when they realize their fatal miscalculation. The sheer, inconceivable weight is something their equipment was never designed for. The harpoons are tearing through the squid's soft flesh like hooks through wet paper. It's no use. With a final sickening, wet, tearing sound of separating meat, the body gives way. The bulk of the creature, the head, the eye, the tentacles, slides free and crashes back into the sea with a wave that washes over the deck. The great monster, mortally wounded but alive, gives one last look at the ship, then sinks, without a struggle, back into the black, silent abyss. The crew is left in a stunned, panting silence. They have lost. Their great prize is gone. All they have to show for their epic 3-hour battle is a single 40-pound piece of the creature's tail fin, still attached to the harpoon lines. It is their proof. Captain Bouyer filed a detailed report, complete with sketches. He was widely mocked. The scientific community dismissed his story as a sailor's yarn, but the 60 men of the Alecton knew what they had seen. They had gone to war with a nightmare, and the nightmare had won. The story became a legend, inspiring Jules Verne's iconic squid attack in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We now know, of course, that the giant squid, Architeuthis dux, is real. But that encounter in 1861 remains one of the only times we have met this king of the abyss on our own terms, in a declared battle between man and myth. It serves as a chilling reminder. Down there, in the crushing, eternal darkness, are things that would make the Alecton's monster look small. We have not conquered this planet. We are merely tenants living on the thin, sunlit crust. If this deep dive into a real-life sea monster story has you hooked, smash that like button and subscribe for more true tales pulled from the darkest corners of history. Thanks for watching.